war, civil rights, poverty, infrastructure. All such issues, no stranger to the average American, were debated by Democrats at their convention. Yet the question remains, who will lead the Democrats as their nominee for president in tackling these issues? Join me, Walter Cronkite, as we explore the stances of two forerunners within this monumental race. Good evening and welcome back for more CBS coverage of the 1968 Democratic National Convention. Soon, Democrats will elect their nominee for President of the United States. Two clear forerunners have appeared thus far, current Vice President Hubert Humphrey and Senator Eugene McCarthy from Minnesota. Throughout the convention, Humphrey has painted himself as a moderate seeking to continue those policies laid out by President Johnson, whereas McCarthy embraces and frequently fraternalizes with the more progressive wing of the party. For example, Humphrey seeks to maintain the current U.S. position in Vietnam, while McCarthy would rather entirely withdraw. Regardless, both candidates display presidential characteristics of the utmost regard. Both Humphrey and McCarthy, in our exclusive interviews with them, took clear positions on their issues of interest and defended their stances appropriately. Let's look at one such interview with Vice President Hubert Humphrey. Tonight, I would really like to get more of your political views out to the American people. We heard great things from you over Vietnam, but I would like to hear your stance on other issues at play. How do you feel civil rights should be incorporated into the Democratic National Platform as with you as president?
I feel like civil rights are obviously very important. I think that for the last decade, we've had several landmark decisions and a ton of progress that has been made with civil rights. I feel like now is not the time to let up on civil rights, but at the same time, it is time to look at what the American people want to do with our party and with our nation. So when you look at the statistics, when asked whether the United States is pushing integration too hard, just right, or not enough, only 10% of the entire country says not enough. And when you look at the statistics on infrastructure, war on poverty, law and order, the other planks that we voted on, the statistics are much higher for those, and the American people favor those much more. Even when you look at non-white people, the statistics on them is only 32% think that integration is not being pushed fast enough. So a minority of the minority thinks that integration is not being pushed fast enough. So it's time that we listen to the American people. We keep pushing civil rights, but I think that it does not need to be a primary plank of our party.
What then do you think you will emphasize as president above all else?
Above all else, it will be likely the things that we voted on during this convention: infrastructure, law and order, and of course the war on poverty. The war on poverty, I'd like to speak on that first, since that's not one of the things that we voted on to be one of our primary planks. We, over the last decade, similar to civil rights, we have had several things that have gone very well under the Johnson administration, with me by his side for these last 3.5 years or so. We've done great things with food stamps, and we've lifted a ton of people out of poverty. The amount of people on food stamps was around 1 million. It's risen to 2 million, and we are trying to help as many people as we can. And I feel like we're doing great with that. But when it comes to things that have just recently started to take hold, I think that we need to also give them time to sink in and let us see the effect of these things happen before we start piling more on, because we definitely need to be trying to help those that are underprivileged and that are poor. But the policies that have been put in place, some within the last year, we don't know the long-term effect of those yet. So we should see what happened with those, do whatever we need to fight poverty, and we should also take a harder look at infrastructure and law and order, since those have not been pushed as hard as the others in the last 10 years.
Let's now take a look at an earlier interview I had with Senator Eugene McCarthy.
They're our biggest concerns at this time. We must care for the concerns of every American, including minorities. We must speak up and stand up for those who are not being heard, because I hear you, I see you. I think infrastructure does not, starting off with infrastructure, I don't think it fixes what citizens are asking for. It doesn't get to the root of the issue. Why are they protesting? Yes, it may make our streets look better, but at what cost? Destroying some low-income neighborhoods? They already have enough to deal with as it is. We shouldn't add living conditions to that list. And now regarding law and order, I'm going to go ahead and speak on that. I think that during times like these, when people are marching for change because they see a flaw in our system, it's crucial that they are able to exercise their First Amendment rights. I am for peaceful protesting. I am not for violent protesting. And I understand in that case, law and order being necessary. I just don't want impactful voices to be silenced accidentally by brute force.
What do the people of Chicago have to say about these two nominees? Let's find out. Most of the protesters outside of the convention supported McCarthy.
I think I support the only viable option, which is McCarthy. If he doesn't win, the pigs and the government will continue to run this country into the ground.
I wholeheartedly support Senator Eugene McCarthy. McCarthy, for sure.
Inside the convention hall, however, opinion was more mixed.
I am currently a big supporter of Vice President Humphrey. I think he's been great for our party, and I think he will be able to unite the nation together and continue some of the policies that the Johnson administration has implemented.
McCarthy all the way! Woo!
For the moment, I'm going to keep it to myself. I do have some pretty good people in mind. They're right there. That's why I'm not saying anything. Oh my gosh.
This is just a glimpse of the conversation surrounding the Democratic nomination process in Chicago. Let's go into convention halls right now with Dan Rather to take a look at what's happening.
The stage is set, and later today, when these seats are filled, the Democratic National Convention will have its chosen person for the presidential candidate of the Democratic Party. Look forward to seeing who that is. Back to you, Walter.
As do I, Dan. As do I. Thank you for tuning in to the CBS Special Evening News broadcast. And that's the way it is. August 28th, 1968.